When most people see triglycerides on a lipid panel, they're thinking about cholesterol. But really, triglycerides are a better marker of how your body is handling sugar and insulin, and therefore looking more at your metabolism and even your risk or propensity for diabetes versus looking at it from simply a cholesterol standpoint. Your body takes excess sugar in your bloodstream, and when your insulin goes up due to that excess sugar, it teaches or tells your body to then transition that sugar into fat in the liver. And so essentially, your body is getting the cues to take sugar converted into fat. And that can cause a lot of issues metabolically and put you at higher risk for heart disease and other metabolic issues. Triglycerides mainly rise not from eating a lot of fat, but actually from eating a lot of sugar. So we'll see elevated triglycerides from eating a lot of processed carbs and sugar, from frequent snacking, from sedentary lifestyle, from people that are gaining excess abdominal fat, from poor sleep, and also from alcohol intake. Alcohol is especially important to note because it's rapidly converted into triglycerides in the liver, and it can significantly elevate levels. The flip side of that is if you do have a high alcohol intake or even a moderate alcohol intake and you decrease your alcohol intake, you will likely see an improvement in your triglyceride levels if they are elevated. High triglycerides aren't often an isolated problem. They're a signal of a broader metabolic issue. And one thing we'll note is sometimes I can see elevated triglycerides before I will even see the marker called the hemoglobin A1C, which is your diabetes marker, go up. So sometimes it can be our cue to really work on diet and lifestyle changes to get that sugar and carb intake down before you develop diabetes, even if your A1C is normal. So when you look at triglycerides for your cue, it's kind of that little white flag or red flag, I don't know which flag you're supposed to say for this, for us to really be extra aggressive in protecting you from developing diabetes and metabolic issues. Things that can encourage or that can improve your triglyceride levels, we spoke about diet, but also getting good exercise in, prioritizing sleep. We spoke about alcohol and limiting that, and also increasing your intake of omega-3 fatty acids. Your omega-3s, like your fish oil, are going to help protect you from building up on your triglycerides. They kind of clean them out, for lack of a better word. As insulin sensitivity improves, so as you decrease your sugar intake and your body makes less insulin and you're more sensitive to that insulin, then we'll see triglycerides improve as well. A little story is I saw a client last year who had elevated triglycerides. So normal triglycerides are under 150. His were in the 700s. And he didn't have an unhealthy lifestyle per se. He was active, he tried to eat well, but he did have a potato chip habit. And he came back 3 months later, we repeated his levels, and he went from a 700 down into the 200. So just a little bit high, but had dropped his triglyceride level significantly. The only change he made was quitting his potato chip habit. And those chips there are a lot of carbs because you're getting the potatoes, but also they have processed seed oils like canola oil or vegetable oil that our liver just doesn't know what to do with. And that was a perfect storm for him to have elevated triglycerides, which then were our signal too to worry about it causing a lot more metabolic dysfunction in him, where he was then at risk for diabetes and heart disease down the road if he had kept this up. So the good news is triglycerides are really responsive to lifestyle changes. And I hope this helps encourage you when you see these numbers to empower you to know you can do something about it.